Brilliant, as good as I've seen anywhere, and I'm not just saying that. All I think every time I enter the store, I've been coming in almost every day, is like, I just wish I had this as a kid. And all I think is like, it's not just about what it does for individual football fans, what it does for the football culture, because everyone's going to be bonding, networking, socializing, and I really think in a couple of years' time, Ultra is going to be that place where the latest podcast started, or the latest talent was founded, or the latest show was started. And in a decade's time, I'm sure there's going to be Socceroos going like, my love for football was either founded or fostered by going to Ultra, and whether it was buying a kit, playing FIFA, or experiencing an event, whatever it is, it's like Ultra is going to be this hub for it, and we're only going to see the fruits of all of this in the next couple of years or decade. But right now, I just love it. I'm in every day soaking it up. Just the diversity in the crowd and on the runway. It was such a reflection of what football and the World Cup is about. Different kind of looking people, different thinking people, all united under the one guys, the love for the game and culture. It was so evident in what people were wearing, the references and the kits themselves. Sydney Derby experience was brilliant. Like, what more can you say? 35,000 in a brand spanking new stadium. The tifo genuinely gave me goosebumps. The limbs in the Wanderers end were as good as anything you'll see in Europe, genuinely, especially those fans on the pitch. I know you're not meant to say that, but the whole night, the whole vibe, everyone in there was just buzzing, because it was like, football is back, and it's fixtures like that that's going to prove that no other sport can come close. The noise and atmosphere at that Sydney Derby I was at was as good as most derbies I've seen it in Europe and South America. What makes it more impressive for me is, in Europe and South America, the leagues are blanketed in media coverage. The A-League still doesn't get that. We're still fighting for it, and yet still 35,000 came. Imagine if those clubs had the 100-year histories of Argentina and Europe and everywhere else, not to mention the media coverage. That's 35,000 with everything we're up against. Imagine if we didn't have the obstacles. And the other big thing I loved was just seeing the young people in the crowd and how much they were into it, with the colours, singing, closing their eyes, letting it all out. It's like, once that generation goes up, that next generation that's only known the A-League, that's when this thing really takes it to another level. Yes, definitely. Winning the Best Sports Documentary of the Year with the Broadcast Awards was, yes, it was validating. It was like, yes, people get it. Like, football stories don't have to be about the biggest names or the biggest clubs. There are so many stories and narratives and worlds to learn about through the other clubs that don't get the usual kind of mainstream attention, and to win it against such other amazing documentaries which had 10 times the budgets we did just shows that people still appreciate that a good football documentary doesn't have to be about the stars or the powerhouses. It can be about the other clubs, because the other clubs represent football just as emotionally and passionately and in any other way. There's been so many. I was almost crushed in a riot in Argentina. I was dragged out of a restaurant in Hamburg by ultras. Having lunch with Will Ferrell and then getting drunk and walking with him to the Fulham game, just me and him, was pretty amazing. You got to check that one in there. There's just been so many. This is the great thing about football. It's like, people say, what's been your best experience? Football isn't just about the game, so it could be anything from the marches I've been part of in Bosnia, to the parties I've had on Copacabana during the 2014 World Cup, to dinners with like celebrities, as I said, like Will Ferrell. It's just, every time you think, oh, I've seen it all, football goes, no, wait till you experience this. One thing I would change about Australian football to make it better is us stop comparing ourselves to football around the world and the other codes. We are up against so much, and we are doing so brilliantly. Stop looking at the crowd, stop doom scrolling and thinking, oh, because we don't get what other codes get. Those other codes have so much history, money, and establishments behind them for centuries. This league's only 17 years old, and we should be so proud of what we've established, the culture, the stories, the rivalries. If those sports were only 17 years old and we're up against what we are, from the authorities to the media, they wouldn't be anything close to what we are. It's a credit to not only football, but football culture and the football supporters in Australia, who are just as incredible as anyone else. I was just watching the 2006 World Cup. You just can't fathom. We made it to the round of 16. Italy had 10 men. We were seconds away from going to extra time. But that team, The 40,000 people that went, the largest deployment of Australians to Europe since World War II, went to Germany. We were the main fans in every game, even against Brazil. That is 2006. Everything that happened in 2006, that's what I'm proudest of. My feelings towards the World Cup in Qatar are mixed. Obviously, it's the World Cup, the greatest cultural event, not just sporting, on earth is the World Cup. It only gets bigger and better every year. Socceroos have made it again. I'm so proud of them 5 times in a row now after waiting 32 years. But they're mixed for a reason. We all know that not only how Qatar won it, but the fact that they were able to then move it after promising they could host a European summer to winter. Obviously, the death tolls, some of the politics. It's disappointing. It's almost feels like a parody, but it's happened. But I'm also excited. I'm super proud of the Socceroos. I'm wary. I think this is our worst squad we've ever taken. But what's the World Cup for if it's not about hoping for something bigger than reality? And that might just happen. On your screens in Australia, I don't want to say too much yet to jinx it, but there's a reason I'm back here. It's to work with brilliant places like Ultra. You'll be seeing me a lot more there, and maybe a few other places that are known for loving Australian football.